I wanted to talk today a little bit about brand fit. One of the things I always say to people who are talking to me about possibly working with us, potential HR consultants looking at franchise options, is the importance of brand. Obviously, there are other franchise options are available, and there are a number of factors that you should consider if you're thinking about going with a franchise and in terms of which one to choose. But really, I think the most important one for me is getting the right brand fit. Because if you are working with them, if you're selling a brand that isn't your own brand, you need to make sure it fits you really well. It needs to tie in with your values, your approach to doing things, your beliefs about how HR should work for small businesses. It needs to feel right for you, because if you're working with a brand, and the same applies if you're selling any other company, if you're selling a brand that really fits with who you are, you come across as much more credible. It's much easier to do, it feels much more comfortable, and it's going to be more successful. And I think that applies particularly when it comes to something like HR consultancy for small businesses, because a lot of the marketing is about you. It's a very personal thing. You're going out there networking, you're talking about what you do and how you do it. And if that all ties in with what a potential client can see on the website and how they perceive the brand as well, if that all ties together, then it's much more credible and it's much better for you in terms of your business success. So I always say, make sure you choose a brand that really suits you well, which may or may not be us. I mean, for some people this won't be a good fit, which is fine. But it's all very well me saying, choose a brand that fits you really well. How do you know if a brand fits you really well? You want it to be, if you're making a big decision like which franchise to go with, you want to get it right. You want to base it on something kind of systematic, something logical, evidence-based, all those things. But it's there are things that you can check, and there are things that you should check. Have a look at the website. So there will probably be a client-facing website and also a website dedicated to the franchise. That's what you probably expect, because they're aiming at different groups of people. Have a look at both of them. What kind of feel do you get? Do the imagery, the tone of voice that's used in the writing, the things that are being said, the values that you can you understand from the website and from the prospectus and from any documents you've been sent, anything like that. Look at all the materials you can find, and get a feel for how the brand comes across. Do you like it? Does it appeal to you? Because if it appeals to you, it's likely to fit really well with you. That's a good thing. Look at the tone of language used in any materials you can find. Does it fit with your tone that you would use with clients? Look at the products and services that you'd be offering and how they are offered and why they're offered in that way. Are there any characteristics about those products and services that are unique to one franchise as opposed to another? And what do you think about that? Do you agree with what they're doing? Do you actually think a better way would be to do something else? Because if you're selling products and services that you really believe in, again, it's going to be much more successful. And then look at your interactions with the franchisor. So me, if it's us you're looking at, or whoever else it might be. What about that person? How do they come across? Do they come across in a way that ties in with the values that are on the website, with the approach that they say they've got? It's very easy to say you're, down to earth or whatever it might be. Do they actually come across that way? Is that actually what they really like? Because if the person you're speaking to, and anyone else that you speak to as well, if the people you're speaking to seem to embody the brand really well, then it's probably very genuine and very authentic, which is a good thing. And you can also have a sneaky peek at other existing franchisees. It's not that sneaky really. You can just look at them on social media, on LinkedIn, look at their profiles on the website. Do they seem like a similar kind of person to you? We don't want everyone to all be the same, and certainly all our consultants are very different, but they have very similar values and a very similar approach to things, which is why they fit so well with us. So have a look at what they're doing, what they're saying on social media, their interactions, and get a feel for what they're doing. If they've got videos, have a look at the videos, and you'll get a sense of whether the brand fits you. And if it doesn't, look at something else, because I think having a brand that really fits you is possibly the biggest factor in terms of whether you've chosen the right franchise option, if you're going with a franchise option at all. You want to get a brand that you feel really comfortable with, and can sell really authentically without it feeling like you're any kind of struggle. It needs to be very natural, and that's when it's most successful.